Hello, welcome to a new video. In this video, we will talk about what the fuck is going on with Bitcoin because we have been going to the downside for around 196 days, a little bit less, 182 days, which is basically a year, So it's been a while, and you see a lot of people on Twitter complaining, that Bitcoin is not coming up, or the other side that they're saying this is the absolute bottom of Bitcoin. Buy everything you have, and people start buying, and guess what? It comes down. Same thing here. No, they think they're catching the bottom, and the other side thinks it's the end of crypto, right? And there's some things that they don't understand about Bitcoin, but especially about any other asset. And what they don't understand is just simple as if they will understand this, they will calm down and breathe for a minute, right? Because the market just moves like this: phase ones, phase twos, phase ones. Guess what? Phase twos. Same thing if it was the other way around. Phase one, phase two, phase one, phase two. Basically, phase one is the correction or the sideways, and phase two is the delivery of price. When price is trending to either way. So yeah, that is basically the way that the markets move. And they don't understand that Bitcoin, just like any other asset, moves exactly the same. Let's go into a weekly chart so you can see it better. Actually, let's go into a monthly chart, right? Let's just draw everything as it is, and so you understand it better. Okay, let's just draw the same thing we just draw into this Bitcoin chart, right? So the market moves, as I said, phase one, which is the sideways or the correction to either way, then phase two, right, which is the delivery. Now phase one, we take this whole move. You can also take this overall move. Phase two, move to the upside. Let's just actually make it like this. So, it gets highlighted the sideways, which is more important. Now, phase one, which is actually a pretty short term phase one because we're trending. Phase two, the delivery. Now, phase one again, the correction or the sideways. Again, this is a very short term phase one because we are trending pretty hard. And phase two, right now, guess what? We're going into phase one right here, into a longer term phase one, right? Now, as you can see, it looks pretty normal, It has done this kind of things, these deep retracements into the 50 multiple times, like here or like here, and just like it's doing right now, right? And we're still bullish, as you can see with this indicator. We're still bullish. We still have made around 7 highs, to the upside. So we're pretty much in a good position. It's a good time for Bitcoin to rest. Now, what you have to understand the reason for this big move to the downside, because you think that Bitcoin and any other asset just moves like this, just like this, just its corrections and its upsides and all that. Everything's fun and no deep retracement. But guess what? These phase ones in phase twos occur on lower time frames and on higher time frames. On the past, let's just take a little chunk of this area. On the past, price might have moved like this. On a lower time frame, we're zooming in. We're on the daily right now. Okay, price might have moved like this. Phase one, phase two. We got right here a phase one of a lower time frame, and we got a phase two right here. Phase one and phase two right here. Okay, in this area, it's more of a higher time frame, phase one, but we're just taking detail. Inside we're zooming in. We can just say this is phase one, and let me just drag it right here so you can see better. Phase two, lower time frame phase two. Okay, phase one. There's a very small phase two right here, so I'm gonna count it. Phase one, and phase 2. So what you need to know is that within those phases 1s and 2s, there's also phases 1s and 2s. Why? Because guess what? If you just remember what we just went through on the weekly, this was phase 1. We just took it from a higher time frame. And this whole thing was phase 2. Let's go back into the monthly. It was not the weekly, sorry, it was the monthly. This was phase 1 and this was phase 2. But guess what? Within that phase 1 and within that phase 2, there's phases 1s and 2s, phase 1s and 2s, phase 1s and 2s. Within this whole phase 1, you saw phase 1, phase 2, phase 1, phase 2, phase 1, phase 2, phase 1, phase 2. And you know, and it just goes on and on and on. In lower time frames, within the daily right here, that we already seeing phase 1s and 2s within this whole move, you're also gonna see phase 1s and 2s on lower time frames, on the hourly, on the 5-hour or whatever. So you have to be aware of that. Now, how does this apply to Bitcoin? Well, it's pretty easy. We are on a longer, on a higher time frame, phase 1 right here, right? That on the lower has phases 1s and 2s. Remember that we talked about that this was phase 1. You know, there was a longer term phase 1 that we're probably gonna go sideways or more to the downside. Okay, within this we have phases 1s and 2s to the downside, right? It looks kind of ugly, but it's just so you understand where we're at in the market. Okay, so right here you can see we have a phase 1, we have a phase 2, we have a phase 1, this retracement, we have a phase 2 right here. Again, it looks very ugly. Let me just delete this so it's more clear, even though it's not, it's really not, because there's lots of phase 1s and 2s within time frames. Okay, phase 1 right here, phase 2, a little bit of a longer term phase 1, phase 2. And right now we're going into a phase 1 on a downtrend. We have a bearish market right now, as you can see here on the indicator. That, by the way, you can get on bullish.com. You can also get, if you get into the mentorship, you also get the indicator. But you know, just a tip: if you want it, it will help you with your development and your scanning. It will make it quicker, but you don't need this to be profitable. Okay, now just watch what I just told you and how this changes your whole outlook on Bitcoin and any other asset. Why? Because knowing this, you know that price has its seasons, and it doesn't mean that Bitcoin is ending, the world is ending, that you have to sell everything you have on Bitcoin. And you know, this actually, it's quite a good opportunity to sell, right? To be trading to the downside doesn't mean to invest it on the long run for bearishness, but it does mean that you can be trading this. Again, we are on a longer term stage 1, on a higher time frame stage 1, on the monthly, right? Which means that on the daily, you're gonna see stage 1s, stage 2s, or phase 1s, phase 2s, however you wanna call it, within this area, right? To the downside specifically, because we're correcting, right? Now, where could you have traded? Let's just flip the chart so you can have it more clearly, depending on your strategy, of course. But at this point, I will be watching. Why? Because we have the EMA 200 turning around, 50, 20, 10. They're all in order. They're all stacked up, and that's what we want, especially when the EMA 200 starts getting separated from price. Okay, let's just go into the bar replay to see where we would have started watching. For example, we're on the daily right now. At this point, I'm not watching. Price can still, let's just flip it again. Price at this point could still keep making new highs right here. So we wait, right? In the EMA 200, it's very close to price, which means it can still turn back up. It's not something we're not doing anything at this point, right? Now let's flip the chart again. This point, I'm still not watching. Why? Because I think it's pretty early, and on the weekly, it looks also very early. As you can see, we can still turn it down, right? Turn it up basically, because this chart is flipped. Yeah. So I wait for price to tell me that it really wants to stay, right? That it wants to hold. I waited. Let me go back. At this point, the EMA 200, which is for me the most important for just knowing the trend at first, and then we involve all the other EMAs. But this is the first one that has to set up. At this point, the EMA 200 is still very close to price. It's not in order. The 50 is below the 200. For me, all the EMAs need to be in order. So the 200 below the 50, 50 below 20, 20 below 10. That's how it is. Okay. So I wait, and now we have it. Now we have the EMA below the 50, and everything's in order. At this point, I'll wait for a retracement because we have been very extended on the daily, and we get the retracement as the EMA is the EMA 200 is getting even more separated, and price is just warming up. I expect a little bit of chop because again we've been going through a very extended market, at least in this short term, and we wait for something to go a bit sideways and then to take off, because right now we're on a stage or a phase, however you want to call it again. We're going into a phase one, right? And we're waiting for a phase two. How do we know we're entering a phase two? I mean, you'll see it when price starts delivering. For me, we're still on a phase one, but once price leaves this area, in my opinion, I'll be entering a phase two, right? So price is moving, not doing much. We're still in the noise. We're still moving a bit weird, and we even go deeper. And at this point, I'm watching, 100% watching. Why? Because at this point, price has shown me that it wants to stay. All the EMAs look great. The EMA 200 is far away from price. EMA 50, 20, 10, they're all in a good place. The weekly, although is not perfect, honestly, I mean, you can absolutely trade it on lower time frames. It just depends on what time frame you're on. But there's always better things to trade, in my opinion. You don't have to be forcing Bitcoin. Okay, you can absolutely be trading this on lower time frames. But if if the weekly is something you use for your strategy, you might want to not. This is still very green, but like I said, the daily looks great. If this is your context time frame or an extra confirmation, even though if you're trading maybe the hourly or the 5 minute time frame, whatever, the daily it's great, and I think everybody should use it, even if you trade the 1 minute time frame, because if you're choppy on the daily, you're choppy on the 1 minute time frame. It's just like that. Why? Because you're if you're within a move like this on the daily, I mean, there's really not much space to be trading. You're gonna see the price is choppy overall, no matter what time frame. If it's choppy on the daily, it'll be choppy on the 5 hour, and if it's choppy on the 5 hour, it'll be choppy on the 1 minute. Why? Because this is just a reflection of lower time frames, right? So you wanna have that into account, and yeah, daily is absolutely tradable into a lower time frames. But if you're much a little bit of a higher time frame trader, you might want to wait, right? You're probably not even gonna get to the point that you're gonna trade Bitcoin to the short side for a long time, but you can absolutely wait. And at this point, if you're a higher time frame trader, you're still waiting. Again, I don't think Bitcoin will go down for much longer, but if it does, you can absolutely trade it on the weekly, on the daily, whatever. On the day looks great. We're starting to chop a little bit. We're on a phase one right now, but we might see a phase two right here. And once this happens, I'm even more confident that price might want to keep moving on down. Sorry, because we flipped the chart. Honestly, I wouldn't touch it myself because there's just better things to trade. There's things with better context overall that are more one-sided than this. Bitcoin is still, Bitcoin is still not fully one-sided, at least on the weekly. I like to see the weekly at least show me that the EMA 200 is above all or near above all. Right now it's just crossing, because we have been trending very, very hard. And it may be the time when Bitcoin starts pulling up, but not without first moving sideways or moving up, then moving up, sorry, or even moving down for a while more. But a lot of times when the EMA 200 comes in, and it's a good decider whether price might want to change directions. Although I don't think price is just not gonna, it's just gonna do this, it's not gonna be like that. I think price is either gonna chop, come down, or chop and come up, and the EMA 200 will stay below price. And again, you don't want to be a one asset trader, because if you're looking for buys or sells, you'll be sidelined for a long time over here. Okay, there's better things to trade. For example, just take a random example. For example, EuroCAD looks great. CAD JPY, AUD JPY is not the best, but looks decent. All this look better than Bitcoin. They're in a bullish context, even on the weekly. So, you don't have a necessity to be trading one asset. And as you can see, the EMA 200 is perfectly aligned. Same with the other EMAs. Price is actually trending. And you could have traded this also weeks, these past weeks. Not every single one of these, but you could have traded these pairs, right? And it's not only that, you could have traded stocks, anything else. What I really want you to understand is that you don't have to be trading single asset, that assets go through stages, and you don't want to be, again, you don't want to be trading a single asset because they go through stages, through phases, So what you want to do is just pick whatever is good at the moment. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys. Bye bye.